Hey guys, I'm Matt, the South Coast Kook. I'm just a kook that loves to chat about everything surfing. And today on the show, I have Talina from Surf Adventure Co. How you going, mate?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to start off with.
Yeah. Talina, own the business Surf Adventure Co. Been a surfer since I was um, 11 years old myself, I guess, and now I'm 38 in like a week, so it's um I'm getting on, but I guess when I started surfing, there wasn't a lot of ladies in the water, so it was a bit more challenging. And yeah, I just love it. I kept doing it through all the years, and now own a surf school, Surf Adventure Co. Elite level surf coach, elite level surfing judge, and now I'm just like, my goal is to be able to help, I guess, the next generation that's coming up now to with the things that I wasn't helped with. So, coaching itself, or just parents getting their heads around how surfing competitions work, and what's involved with all of those sort of things, traveling, dealing with kids going through that environment that maybe sponsorship brings and things like that. Just the things that I kind of had to figure out on my own, and my parents, they're not surfers themselves. And so just helping where I can, I guess.
That's such an interesting background. When you, like 11 years ago, when you did start surfing,
Longer than 11 years.
well, sorry, yeah. When you were 11,
Yeah.
did you just know that you wanted to make a career out of it? Or was it kind of like,
No, I moved from Brisbane to the Sunshine Coast when we were 11. So I grew up in Queensland, and I got my first surfboard from our neighbours. They had like a garage sale. I've actually still got the surfboard, and super weird. It's a Jackson shaped surfboard. So it's a shape that from Cronulla. And obviously at the time I was 11, I never knew that was a thing. And I had said, like, through my whole life, never moving to Sydney. Like, I'd never want to move down south. It's cold, it's horrible, all of those things. And now here I am on the south coast, and I do love it, except for the cold water. But yeah, as an 11-year-old, look, I picked up a surfboard at a garage sale. We were living by the ocean. Everyone was doing it. All the boys were doing it. I was a massive tomboy, so I was like, all right, well, if they're doing it, that's what I'm doing. So yeah, I did that. And I guess I sort of switched between boogie boarding and surfing for probably like 2 years. And then I went in my first surfing competition in year 8 of high school. So I was 13, and I asked the teacher, and still, Simone Day is her name, and I think she's still a teacher at Caloundra High School. I was like, oh, can I go in it like with a boogie board? And this was at school, so it would have been school regionals. And she's like, no, there's no boogie board division. Like, you've got to surf it, or you can't go in it. And I was like, oh, okay. And I won. and that was kind of it. I'm a massive competitor, so for me to like go out and win something, I was like, yeah, okay, this is it. This is what I want to do. And that was it. A million school days missed to go surfing or competing. And then, yeah, coaching from like 16 or 17 years old. Sort of took a bit of time off in between, but yeah, like, always came back to surfing. Surfing was home, and still is home. Like, if I have a bad day, I know I can go for a surf, and it fixes most things. So yeah.
I definitely can relate to that for sure. I
Yeah.
love saltwater therapy.
Definitely. Yeah, there's something behind it for sure.
So you started competing at like school, and I'm assuming that you still compete now. What's the sort of highest level you sort of got to?
I competed on the WQS for a number of years. Kind of ran out of money, like most people. Racked up like a $15,000 credit card debt, and was like, yeah, I probably don't want to go into debt too much more than that. And so I had to stop. But my highest ranking, I finished 17th on the World Qualifying Series. Um, in what year? That's a good question. Maybe like 2005-ish. And then, yeah, it was sort of around the time where I felt like, and maybe, this was my perception, so it may not have been reality, where women started to be judged higher for wearing G-strings in their heat than their actual surfing abilities. And that's not like, I've never been that person. Like, I'll wear a bikini surfing and I'm totally all for women empowerment. Go rock yourself, like wear what you want and feel most comfortable in. But when the scores definitely felt like they were being thrown for wearing less, I was like, yeah, I don't know that I want to be a part of this anymore. So I totally took myself out and I was like, done. Moved to a little place called Canungra, which is like Gold Coast hinterland, and fell in love with horses.
Yeah, no way.
So, yeah, totally random. Totally, I was just like, yep, don't want to do this anymore. And so, yeah, I just went and lived with my best mate at the time, and we rode horses and worked at night and rode horses all day. And it was an awesome time. I had like the best time. And then I met my now husband at Canungra Pub because there's an army base there, and I was never going to move to Sydney. And 2 years of back and forth and long distance, and I ended up moving to Sydney. And then we were close to the beach again, so I guess I fell in love with surfing. And then sort of women like Jessie Miley Dyer has just done amazing things. And I used to compete against Jessie. It's one of the, I'm going to call it my claim to fame now, but Jessie comboed me a couple of times.
Yeah,
right. And when they introduced like equal pay for women, I shed a tear. I was like, this is it. Like, this is happening. And I want to be involved again. So then I started training again, and I competed again for the Australian leg of the World Qualifying Series in 2020. So 2020 or 2021, I don't know. One of them. I made a few rounds. I surfed against girls who were absolutely ripping. Most of my heats, I was sort of paddling out going, I could be your mum. But just like so stoked to be there and be involved and see it evolving, which is then, I guess, when I was like, okay, I love this. I love everything about competing and being involved in competitions. But I'm getting a bit old to compete against these girls. Like, what else can I do? And sort of judging was then like my next thing, where I was like, I can still be involved. I can still go to surfing competitions. I'm still making money.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, this sounds really good to me. So
Yeah, sweet. Did you notice the environment has changed since like the equal pay and stuff? Because it's ridiculous that it's taken so long to get to where we are now.
Yeah.
But competing again that second time round, did you just go, yeah, this is different?
It was different. Like, I just remember, and so many people in the movie Girls Can't Surf Now. And I went and saw it with a friend of mine who, like, her kids are growing up and surfing and competing, but they never saw like what you see in that movie. And I was just sitting there like, yeah, like, this is actually what happened. And we were thrown out in the worst conditions, and it's going to be low tide and onshore, put the girls out. That is literally like what we experienced. So now to have the QSs and they're like, oh no, it like, so it goes off numbers, and there's still improvements to make. Like, amazing, equal pay, love it. But hey, let's see equal number of men and women on the tour now. And like, that will definitely equalize everything, but they're still not, they're like definitely putting the girls out when the waves are good now. It's not,
Yeah.
it's going to be crap, put the girls out. It's definitely, like ultimately it's just become more professional. It's a business. And I think like it's really good that they are looking at it that way as well. So
I think like you said, it's awesome they're moving that way and fine tuning to get that sort of system right. But it's definitely like positive steps for sure.
Absolutely. I think the frustration for me is I have people going like, I want everything to change now and I want it to be amazing now. And they're like, Talina, like, you have to calm down because, you know, such amazing advancements have been made. But I'm like, yeah, but we're not there yet. Like, we still have a ways to go. And they're like, yeah, but like, just we'll get there. And I'm like, but I want to see it in my lifetime. I don't want it to be go on to the next generation. Like,
well, without going like on too much of a tangent, but I previously just did Sarah Gibson, who competed at the Paralympic Games, and she got silver medal and cannot get a sponsor. Like, she has to pay her own way, which, you know, she's like, yeah, she's on the pension because she can't work. Like without going out too much of a tangent.
Yeah. So to left field that tangent further, the Equestrian Australia tried to pull the Australian para team out of the World Championships because they were like, we don't want to fund it. So similar situation, right? There's already riders from Australia in Europe where the championships are, and their horses are there, they are there, they've been training, they're ready to go, they got the qualifying scores, and the Australian Institute of Sport High Performance Centre or whoever makes the calls said, we're pulling out the Australian Paralympic para team for equestrian. And it was actually amazing to witness. Massive uproar, craziness ensued. They had to, like, Dylan Alcott was like being tagged in every single post. Just, this is outrageous, cannot happen. Support from Australian equestrians was just off the hook, out of control. And we now, like, they got it overturned. So same thing, silver medal, no sponsorship. Australian Paralympic, like, they have actually got a gold medal in dressage before, and the regular Australian Olympic team never has. But we have an Olympic rider, Mary Hannah, who's been to the Olympics 6 times. Like, advancements to be made, not only in surfing, but still in other sports as well. Regardless, that's got nothing to do with gender. That's just in general. So super interesting to take a sideways step in sports as well and see that not just surfing, but other sports have similar challenges that they are still also overcoming.
For sure.
Cool. Yeah.
So I'd like to know what board you ride too while we're chatting.
Yeah. Well, I have a quiver. My day-to-day right now is a Au Ghost. So I like to try all different things.
So
I'm a big fan of, like, just jump on as many boards as you can and see what works for you, because what works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for anybody else. So the Au Ghost at the moment, I've got I think is it 510 or 511? It's just over 28 liters. So essentially, when I had my third little bubba, Ezra, I wanted something a little bit like fatter to get back in, and I grabbed the Au Mini Ghost because it was like 2 liters more than what I usually run, and I was like, yeah, let's do this. It'll be fun, and I loved it. And I was like, okay, now I need the Ghost. got my fitness back a little bit more. Love the outline of it. Love the idea of having like a series of boards with a similar outline that you could chop and change between. Because you know how sometimes if you grab a board but changing between boards, you're like, oh, I just need a couple of surfs to get used to that board because it's so different from that one. And I love that Paizel has gone, let's keep the outline similar, but, you know, we want this one for when it's smaller and fatter waves, but this one's more of a performance one. And I know that he makes the Ghost in like an extra large version as well. And there's another model that's still based off that same shape as well. So I love that they've done that, and that you can sort of change between boards without having to change your surfing heaps. So Paizel Ghost.
Yeah, for sure. That makes total sense too. Like if you get sort of accustomed to a shape or a size, and then just to go up and down, just to as it caters, you know.
Yeah, exactly that. So
just give me 1 second, right?
Yeah.
My dog refuses to use the doggy door and just sits there and sulks. Sorry about that.
That's funny. I thought it was your bubba.
Nah. Yeah, that's a whole different other story.
Oh, that's funny.
So is there a best wave of your life? Do you have like a wave that sort of stands out?
I have a favorite wave, which is Keramas in Bali. But I've been going there since before Keramas was anyone sort of knew about it. It was still a little bit secret. And I've had like some of the best surfs of my life out there for sure. But then I guess it might be different now after COVID. I know there's not as many people in Bali. But yeah, the last few times that I went, I was really disappointed just with all the crowds and everything. And I'd actually wait until it got a little bit onshore, and then I'd go and surf it when everyone came in. So I'd just surf it by myself in half onshore waves and still have like the best waves and the best fun. But yeah, there's probably been two particular sessions at Keramas that stand out to me. One of them, I was there with a sponsor at the time, Hive Swimwear, and it was probably like 8+ foot, and I think I was pretty young still, and I was packing.
Yeah.
They were like, no, we need to get the shot, so you need to go surf. So, you know, yeah, and then I've still got the photos actually. There's one photo where I'm doing like a big bottom turn, and I'm pretty sure my eyes are looking up, and this wave is easily like 3 times overhead, and I'm just like, I was scared, but we got the shots, and
Wow.
I probably got like some of the best waves of my life. So that was all right. Growing up in Queensland, like Noosa in cyclone swells are definitely sessions that stand out in my mind. And yeah, I don't know. I have like a deep love for Bali. I just love it. I love the people. I love going there. I love the smells. I don't know. The smell of Bali is something that I think the first time you ever get off the plane into Bali, and maybe it's a little bit different now because they are they do clean a lot more, but the burning of rubbish on the side of the road. I just remember flying in, and it was so unexpected to me. The Bali wafts.
No, I'd tell you what, it's a special place.
Yeah.
I've been there. Haven't surfed there, but had like had a bit of a holiday there. It was so much fun and such a cool experience. And I like, we're stinging to get back, but don't know when that will be.
Yeah, I'm hopeful my husband will allow me to go by myself and leave the kids at home.
Well, I feel like you deserve that. So when your husband listens to this, give you the nod of the approval.
I've done it a few times. I love traveling by myself. I don't know what it is. When I was younger, I traveled by myself a lot. I don't know if it was just because like the people I was hanging around never had any money or could commit to like saving or going away or leaving work or anything like that. But I've always just gone and done things by myself. And I feel like when you're young, especially, it's the best way to travel. You meet people that you would never otherwise have spoken to because you have no one else to talk to. So yeah, I love traveling by myself.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a bit of like the surf and history side of things done.
Yep.
Would love to talk more of the business side of things. And so let's have a bit of a rundown of like Surf Adventure Co. Like what's the basis of it?
What's the deal? Yeah. So I guess like I said, I've been surf coaching on and off since I was 17. I feel like as a grom, and I still do it around here, like you do fall into surf coaching at some point. You know, the surf schools all get to know you and they'll ask you to coach. And some kids do it and they do it for a little bit and then they stop. But I just like helping people. And I like making a difference. And I think for me now getting older, surfing is how I feel I can best do that. So Surf Adventure Co started 3 years ago, right before the pandemic.
Great time to start a business.
As you do. And we were going so well, amazingly well. I had some amazing coaches working for me, and we were really starting to push forward and get a lot of learn to surf lessons up and going. I guess with a surf school, learn to surf lessons are your bread and butter. They'll always come through and you'll always have them. But for me, I have to be honest, the learn to surf is not so much my direct passion, but I can see where it all begins and how it's still important to a surf school business. But it's the high performance is where my passions definitely lie. So I wanted to be able to help people. Hi. When they start to get to that competition stage. And like I said before, I didn't have anyone helping me. So I want to be able to help people, and Surf Adventure Co is the best way for me, I feel, to be able to do that. So yeah, I guess predominantly I take a lot of the video surfing sessions, so video analysis, and the more I do of it, the more I learn as well, and the more I pick up of different things. And then I love psychology and the psychology the why behind people do things. So teenagers, particularly as their brain develops, for me, like watching and learning that sort of stuff and seeing what motivates them to do better or be better and picking up those particular things as well. I love doing that too. So
well, I just recently did a little family trip, and I went to the High Performance Center up at Kingscliff.
Did you love it?
Loved it. Like I'm a kook surfer. That's like I'll be 100% honest with you, but just to have that video analysis of like, hey, this is you doing a turn, and this is John doing a turn, and this is the difference.
Yeah.
That whole experience was super cool, and that's mind blowing. And that's why I was like super keen to get you on the show, because that whole aspect of like the competing side of things was really cool to me. Like you teach people why they judge, why judges score, how to like mentally prepare before a heat, like that kind of side of things was really cool to me. It sort of separates you from, the average surf school down the road.
Yeah. So I think for me, the why, the like the mental preparation, even the physical preparation. So at High Performance Center, I'm not sure how much they go into while you're there, but now we've been talking about prehab. So we know what particular injuries a high performance surfer is most likely to get. So we're now training those parts of the body more to make sure that your chance of injury is less. So we know shoulders, we know hips, we know knees, ankles. Those are the things that carry the most amount of load through our body when we're surfing. So we're we're developing particular exercises outside of surfing to ensure that those are the strongest parts of our body, so there's less chance of injury, which is amazing. It's like super cool. And then bodily awareness and things like that, the mental side of it. I've just created a booklet that my high performance coaching kids now use for every session, and I fill it out as well as a coach. And I feel like this is something that really separates me from other coaches as well, particularly for kids. Like a lot of the time their parents aren't involved in coaching. Like if you look at swimming, for example, a parent will take their kid to the pool, drop them off and come back when they're done. And that's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, it's really important as a parent to know what my kid's doing when they're going to surfing. So they fill out a booklet and it's got like, how did you sleep? How's your diet recently? How's your mental health? Have you got any anxiety? How are you feeling? And I'm able to then correlate this kid's best surf with his feelings before he started surfing. So we can begin to replicate, or we can say, when you won that competition, what were you feeling? And who did you have around you so that you felt the best in yourself? And that then made you be able to go out, be confident and surf the best in yourself, in your abilities. Now surfing's like, ultimately, and at the end of the day, you can be feeling the best and have a crap surf. We get it. But if you can replicate your best feeling and go out for a surf, the chances of you having a good surf are way higher than if you say, I only got 3 hours of sleep last night. Because I only had 3 hours of sleep, I didn't have any breakfast. I haven't had any water. Everything is sort of working against me. And then you had a bad surf. Yeah. Okay. Well, we can see that in your book. We can actually look at this data now and link up when you felt bad and when you felt good, and make sure we replicate the good so that you have the best chance of having a good surf.
Because there's so, like, you could spend thousands of hours in the water, but if you're not preparing yourself mentally and physically before and after, yes, you might as well just throw those, those hours in the bin.
Yeah. Never. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I have parents, when their kids are coming, they're like, I want my kid to be the best surfer. Obviously, everyone wants themselves and their kids to be the best surfer. And I always tell people, it's time in the water. I don't care what you do in the water, like in the ocean. I don't care what you do in the ocean. If you look at the best surfers in the world, they are amazing ocean people. John, Kai Lenny. Like if you look at what they do in the ocean, they are not just surfing, they're body surfing, they're boogie boarding, or like Jamie O'Brien. My kids love Jamie O'Brien. I'm psychic. Yeah. Smart man. Yeah, totally. And absolutely respect that. But again, he's an amazing ocean person. So he's riding these wampers, or he's riding 9 foot foamies out at pipe, where anyone else would be like, I don't think I could surf pipe today. It's too big. Yeah. But amazing ocean person, because they just spent so much time in the water. And for me, like I tell every parent, time in the water. I don't care if your kid's playing in a shory. If they have the ability to read a shory, they'll have the ability to start to read the waves that are coming out the back. So if you don't feel comfortable as a parent taking your kid surfing, that's fine. Take them for a swim in the flags. Take them in the ocean somehow, any way you can make that happen. And that will make them a better surfer down the track.
Yeah. Speaking from my own experience, because this is the first year that I've competed at Board Riders. Shout out B grade.
My husband's in B grade.
I'm having so much fun, for one. Yeah. But I just know that my first heat, I arrived not knowing what to expect, right? I didn't know how, like, I've watched WSL, but as far as like personally, I had no idea. Yep. So a program like you offer for those Groms who are like starting to compete, to just know what to expect, to know how to get scored, what to look for. Like as well, like it's different because it's time wise too. Yeah. So we get 15-minute, 20-minute heats. Like how many waves should I be catching in that sort of time?
Yeah.
So this is why it really spoke to me, the programs that you offer.
Yeah. So yesterday was a really good example of that. I had 3 kids in a group in the morning, and they're all competing. They're at board riders, or they've just done state titles or regionals and above. And the waves, it was like 25 knot southwesterlies yesterday. Like if we weren't training, you probably wouldn't go surfing, really. But they were all super keen, amazing attitudes. They're like, nah, let's give it a go. 2 of them still sat on the inside. One of them was like, nah, I'm going out back. And I was like, respect, go you. But I said to them before they started, I said, all right, surfing competitions will still be held in these waves. Like it's contestable, or it's what we call contestable. But you can't go out there and get 2 10-point rides. It's not going to happen. There's not 2 10-point rides out there today. So you need to think about, well, I need to get 2 6-point rides. And 2 6-point rides today is going to get me through most heats, maybe until the final where I need to try and get an 8. And I think people, you know, if you haven't competed before, you don't think like that. And there was a lot of water moving. So in 20 minutes, you're lucky to get 2 waves. So you need to be quite selective in the waves that you're going to catch. And thinking about all of those different things as well. But like you say, if this is your first time competing, to be able to pull that knowledge out of someone who's been competing for a long time, pull that out of their head. And sometimes as a competitor, like I know people who have been competing for forever, and you can be like, oh, what do you think? Where should I sit? What should I do? And they're like, just go out and paddle out and just do it.
That's pretty much what I was told when I was asking for advice. Everyone's just like, I don't know, just surf.
Just go and
what do you mean?
Whatever. There's definitely a type of person who should become a coach. And it's not the person who's like, I don't know, go and sit out there, just catch 2 waves. It's the person like me who probably overanalyzes everything to a fault, but then can explain what their thought process is.
Yeah, for sure.
Because without that exploration, it's still like gobbledygook.
Yeah. All right. So we've got your beginner learning to surf. You've got your what we would call it competing section of your what else do you have to offer?
Well, like pretty much everything in between, I guess. I've with coaching, it's not always good surf. It might be too big or too small or too windy. So as a business, you've got to sideways step and go, all right, well, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, we still have to make income to pay the bills and do all that sort of stuff. What can we do to make sure that even when the surf is not surfable, we're still doing something? And there is like those stretching programs. We do some pool training. So we're so lucky where we are. We've got the license for Bulleye Beach for Surf Adventure Co. And we can use like Woonona Ocean Pool or Bulleye Ocean Pool. And we'll do games for more of the learn to surf stuff. We'll start to do a little bit of surf rescue because 24/7 Surf Rescue, which is a program that Surfing New South Wales has initiated. When Winnie started that, or he wanted to get the government funding for the program, he sort of went, you know, it's great that we have lifeguards and it's amazing that we have lifesavers, but the amount of surfers, you go to the beach anywhere in Australia on any given day, and there's pretty much going to be a surfer in the water. Our surfers are the ones that do the most rescuing. So if we can then teach these kids some surf rescue skills as well, to make sure that 1, they keep themselves out of trouble, but 2, if they decided they felt competent enough to help somebody else, that they had the skills and knowledge to be able to do that, then I feel like that's a super important part of our surf school to be able to educate kids to do that as well. So yeah, there's that side of it. Competitions, yeah, there's I do photography. So yeah, I've always been interested in photography. I started similar, like with the horses and going to horse shows and taking photos there. But now I offer it as a service as a part of Surf Adventure Co. So not everyone wants coaching, and that's okay. That's totally fine. Some people just want someone to stand on the beach and video them surfing because they feel comfortable in their own ability to see what they're doing and fix their own challenges maybe, or they want social media content or whatever it might be. Everyone
I get it.
Everyone thinks they want to see video of themselves surfing until they see video of themselves surfing, and then they go, that's not what I thought I surfed like.
You ever want your ego to be smashed? Get yourself filmed.
That's exactly right. But the more you get your ego smashed, the more you get used to it, and then the more you can improve. So it's like it's challenging to begin with, but once you get over the fact that you're definitely not as good as you thought you were, then you can improve. So yeah, there's that side of it. So we do a photography session. You just basically say, hey, I'm going to bring my own memory card. You stick it in your camera, video me for however long it is that you want me to stand there and video for, and I'll give you the card back at the end of the session and you go on your merry way. It's different. It's unique. I've not seen anyone else offer anything like it before, but I think it's actually really good for a lot of people that have no interest in getting feedback from an external person.
Which is fun.
Which is totally fine. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I've started a new one, which is like, I think it's an amazing gift for somebody. So essentially what you do is your friend would ring me and say, hey, I really want to get video of Matt surfing. But sometimes when people get videoed, they surf crap.
Yeah.
Because they're like, someone's watching me. Oh my God, they're going to catch every wave. They're going to judge me. They think I'm surfing bad. They're going to be like, oh my God, why am I here? So we do a secret video session. So essentially what will happen is someone will ring me and say, I want to get a video session for Matt. Okay, cool. No worries. Let me know where you're surfing, when you're surfing, and I'll just roll down the beach. He won't know that I'm there to video him, but I'm going to video his entire session. I'm going to put together a little video. I'm going to do some photographs as well. And at the end of your session, we'll meet up together. We'll do a video. We'll do a little photograph or something like that, a little photo book if that's what you'd like. And we're going to put that together as a gift for your friend.
That's such a good idea, that one. I like that.
Yeah, they never knew it was happening. So they didn't think about their surfing. They just went out and surfed. I know that like when people start to get videoed, they get nervous. I get nervous, and I've been videoed for 20 odd years.
I know that was the first thing with the High Performance Center when I did it. It was, oh my God, someone's filming me. I've got to catch a wave. I've got to rip hard. I've got to do this. And then it doesn't ever go the way that you want it to.
No, you're like, I'm going to try an air. I've never landed an air before. Today I'm going to try an air because they're videoing.
Old mate, when I came in after my session, goes, man, you just like caught heaps of waves, like closeouts, this and that. And I was just like, I wanted to make it work.
I didn't want you to waste your time standing on the beach. So I caught as many waves as I possibly could, regardless of what sort of wave they were.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing to take away from that as a coach is, whilst I'm technically there judging you, I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
I actually, I mean, I might care if you surf like John and you weren't competing on tour, because I'll be like, what are you doing? But I am genuinely there to help you. I have absolutely no negative thoughts running through my brain whatsoever. My genuine thoughts are, how can I best help this person get better?
Yeah.
And I think once people recognize that and realize that, it's like, And that's like, yeah, part of the videoing. It's all up here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what's planned for the future for Surf Adventure Co?
Yeah. So plan for the future, I want to continue with the high performance stuff. I'm in the middle of organizing, like, I guess, a little team, I guess you would put it that way, of between 12 and 15 kids. I try to never coach more than 4 people at once in a weekly session, because I really want to give as much attention as I possibly can to each individual person. But as a team, I want to get a little team together, about 15 kids, and educate both them as the children, but also their parents, as to how the system of competitive surfing works. Where do you start? What competitions are coming up? How do you even enter online, and what's that all about? How do you look for the best accommodation and make it as cheap as you can? Because as I discovered the other day, paying for the Woolworths Grom Comp is like $93 for an entry. And I was like, to enter a world qualifying series event. So this is the same thing as well. Like a lot of people don't realize it. You have to buy WSL insurance. You have to have your WSL like membership, which it works out, I think it's about $250 Australian. And they charge it all in US just to confuse you even further. So you have to sit there on your computer and figure out how much US to Oz dollars is, and then, you know, do that whole game. Then you have to, and that's just for the Australian one. So if you want to do international, that's a different membership again. You have to pay for each individual event. So for a world qualifying series events, minimum $250, but it actually changes depending on whether it's a 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, etc., event. And it gets more expensive as they get bigger because the prize money is bigger. But generally that also means there's more competitors. So you've got to get through more rounds to actually make money.
Yeah.
You can see why I've wanted to judge, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Going and showing up and judging and getting paid. But it's similar for the kids as well on a smaller scale. The Woolworths Grom Comp is so popular that, for example, the Kiama competition opened on the 25th of July at 5 p.m., 5:05 p.m. Sold out. That's it.
Insane.
No more. Like a full weekend of surfing for under 8s, 10s, 12s, and 14s. Sold. 5 minutes. Done. So if you're a parent and you've never been involved in the surfing world before or know how surfing competitions work, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, well, it opens on the 25th, so a few days after that is my payday. I'll book the kid in then. You're too late.
Yeah.
And then you've missed that competition. Maybe the one after the one at Kiama, which is the closest to us, is at Coffs Harbour. But maybe you can't get 3 days off work to go to Coffs Harbour, so your kid misses out on that one too. And then the next one after that is Northern Beaches. So that's a bit closer. That's good. So now we start to begin to go, okay, well, I need to ask someone, how does this work? Because if I tried to enter my kid and I was 3 days, only 3 days after it opened and it was already full, well, when is it filling up? And it's 5 minutes after it opens. So if I can tell these parents from the start, you've got to be sitting online at 5 o'clock to get your kid in the entry in the comp that's at their local beach, then isn't that going to be better for them than, someone at Coffs Harbour may be missing out because we missed the first one, so we're going to the next one? It's like this perpetual never ending.
Yeah. I get it. And I imagine that all those points and stuff that the kid needs, and then missing out on those kind of stuff.
That's right. So when you start, so the Rip Curl Grom Search ones, same thing. They fill up super fast, But the thing with the Rip Curl ones is you've got to do XYZ competition to make the national final, which is at Urban Surf. And who doesn't want the chance to surf at Urban Surf?
Yeah.
But you have to compete in each of them. So your parents need to be there online on the dot when it opens to make sure that you get those entries into those ones. There's a lot more behind it than just showing up to a comp and surfing.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like, that's why they should come to you and get you to do it.
But I don't want to do that for them.
Yeah, you want to show them.
I want to show people how so that they can do it themselves. I'm all for helping people where they need help. That's fine. Might have to go and rescue them off the stairs.
Go rescue.
What are you doing? You're stuck. Yeah. We call him Danger Baby.
Well, this would be a great time to plug the socials. So Surf Adventure Co.
Surf Adventure Co. Is the Instagram, and my personal one, which I just chop and change between the two, but Salty Horse Mum is the personal one.
And you got a website as well?
Yeah, surfadventure.co.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, so that's the surf school one. But look, send me a message if it's all just a bit too confusing. I think that's what probably makes me stand out a little bit more than others is if it's all confusing, just message me and I'll help where I can.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I've got one last question for you because I know you got to wrestle the kid.
Good. Been so good.
What does surfing mean to you?
Surfing is my life. I think my life would have been very different without surfing. Surfing ruins your life in the best possible way.
Yeah, I understand that one.
Like, I can never now go on a holiday again without bringing a surfboard or a snowboard.
Yeah.
It's ruined my life in the best possible way.
It's a lovely way to put it. I like that one.
Yeah, I think that's what surfing is to me.
Well, to all my listeners, have a jump on the Instagram page. Like I said, if you're even remotely thinking about competing, reach out. You'll definitely help them. Or if you're just learning to surf or want to be filmed, definitely reach out. But yeah, thank you so much for giving me up some of your time and bouncing there with the little one as well.
Just started saying dad.
Ah, nice.
So, yeah. Thanks for having me. It's been good to have that.
No worries, and thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Talk a lot.